No intro, let's get right to it. Classes. In Trove we have different classes. Which one should you choose? Just choose what interests you. Everything is viable, some are stronger than others, but if you're gonna stick it out in this game, you must play whatever you enjoy. You only enjoy being the strongest? Ask in the comments or in-game what's strongest at the time you're watching. After your first 2 starter classes, you can get more by crafting them in the Chaos Core Crafter. Or you can pay with cash, of course. Press J to swap between classes. If you ever forget a keybind, press V for the full menu. Just don't forget that one. Subclasses. Classes can also be used as subclasses while playing another. For example, when I'm on my Shadowhunter, I can use the Knight as a subclass, giving me bonuses. The Knight gives flask capacity based on my Knight's level, and mount speed based on his power rank. Main ones are Knight, he works on everyone, helps when you don't have speed in your gear or kit. Lunar Lancer is a big damage steroid, and you don't need to gear him much for that to work. I'll leave a link in the description for all subclasses and their brackets so you know what they do. Clubs. Something you should get into immediately is a club. Being part of a good club will not only help you in-game with questions, but having a primary club will give you a ton of passive buffs, such as damage, experience boost, discounts, and more. I'm in an active club with great buffs and active players that is open for everyone, even new players. It's called the Trove Academy, and I'll leave a link in the description to their Discord where you can ask for an invite. Early priority. What you choose to do in Trove is up to you, but my recommendation for early game, for you who wants to get a strong main character to help you obtain all kinds of things, is to get into a club, do your expertise quest about gems, level up and get better gems, gear, emblems, a banner, flask, ally, etc. Why we're doing all this is so that we can get to 5k power rank and then 10k. Those are the big milestones for obtaining better gear and gems. What I would do as a new player to reach this PR faster is to sell whatever I've acquired to buy a set of stellar gear before reaching level 20, where we instead get crystal gear. You must be mastery level 20 to trade items and use the market. Then type /join trade, and in this chat you can say want to buy stellar weapon, hat, face, ring. The typical price as I'm making this guide is around 6 to 10k each, and the rings everyone has their own idea of. But any stellar ring will do, as we just want the PR, and it costs around 6k to make a box, so don't overpay as we'll get crystal here as well later on. Gems. As with gear, gems have rarities. These stop at stellar though, and not crystal. To obtain stellar gems, which is our main goal, we need to grind in Uber 9 worlds. Preferably these on the edges that give both normal U9 gem boxes as well as a guaranteed box for the slot that matches the world. We want to get good stellar gems out of these boxes to use and invest in. While we're leveling, we will just equip the best we get along the way and maybe level them to 5 or 10 if we need a power rank milestone. But the gems we really want to invest fully in should be a good power rank from the start and have damage, crit hit, crit damage as its stats. If you get a really good power rank on it, but one of those stats are health, we can reroll that later if we get good boosts on the gem. So how is a gem good and what are boosts? We want fierce gems if we are physical and arcane gems if we are magical. Fierce can only have physical damage as its damage type and vice versa for arcane. A small stellar gem can at max be 600 power rank at level 1, but what also determines if we want to fully max a gem is where their boosters land. When we level a gem at level 5, 10 and 15, one of the stats will get an extra boost. We don't want any of these to hit the stat where crit hit would be. This is up to you how long you want to grind for and try, but rerolling boosters is time gated while you can always grind new gems. Here in the Gem Forge is where we augment and check on our gem stats. This icon right here is a boost that we get at 5, 10 and 15, and these guys down here are the ones we use to increase the percentages of each stat. And we craft these in the adventure table. And the augments here give more and more to the gem's percentage, but the only ones we really grind for and make are these. Because these are not worth your time and these are not worth your resources. This one rerolls a stat and this one replaces a booster on a random other stat of the 2 remaining, if that makes sense. And it costs 2 of these to make that one. And these are weekly time gated, so this is why we want good gems to start with. Now the empowered gems. You will get some from the main quest about gems, But further gems will be found in empowered gem boxes, which we obtain with the same resource as we craft stat rerollers with, lunar souls. We buy these from the shadowy market in here. After you have your empowered gems on your main, you want to get all of these items for mastery. You can also get 12 empowered gem boxes every Monday at reset if you play the 3 classes shown here on the contest leaderboard each week up till 75 points. I recommend getting 125 on these every week to also get the Bound Brilliance for crafting boosters. Each class has its own gem, but to get your class gem you will have to go here to U8 Everdark and complete a Colosseum and open the chest there with a class gem key. You get 1 key for free through the first gem quest line. You can get more through opening empowered gem boxes and crafting them in the adventure workbench once again. For us to be satisfied with a stellar empowered gem we open, we need to look at 3 things when we get one. Power rank close to 900, at least 835 plus, 3 stars, and the name of it. If we get good stats and power rank, it's nice, but honestly, if we get the color we want with 3 stars and it has one of the names we want, we will most likely go for it. The names tells us which ability a gem has, and we cannot equip 2 with the same name. And now as I'm editing, I realize I didn't mention which names you want to have in each slot. So the cosmic one can either be Berserk Battler for more light in battle, or if you don't care about that, you can go for Vampire and Vanquisher for speed. And in the remaining slots, you just want one of each, typically Class Gem, Explosive Epilogue, and Pyrodisc. That's the most damage you get. But if you find a good Stinging Curse or Cubic Curtain, those work as well. You can honestly slot in anything. It's not the biggest deal, but we definitely want Pyrodisc, Class Gem, and a good Cosmic one. So now you have good gems, all ready to level up. But you need a shit ton of dust. The best way to get dust is to level a gem to 15 before loot collecting it. This is basically trading Flux for dust, and it's more cost efficient the higher the tier of the gem is. I only do it on Radiant and Stellar gems, and with Enhanced UI mod, you have this checkbox so you can just spam gems to level 15 fast. A final note for the gem section is that we don't want our boosts on crit damage and damage on the cosmic gems. Because on Cosmic, we don't want crit hit as a stat. We want damage for our class, light, and crit damage. And we want all the boosts on light, so we deal more damage to Geode topside enemies and Delve enemies. This is capped at 8k for Geode topside, and I think up to depth 128 for Delves. I believe. No source. Gear. Take whatever gear gives you the best power rank in the beginning. We still just want to hit 5k and 10k power rank to open Geode topside and U9 worlds. As mentioned in the early priority section, before level 20 you can buy stellar gear from /join trade in chat and pearl that gear, which you do here in the enchanted forge. You just put in your gear, you press upgrade. If you need more pearls, you can buy them on market. If you want smaller stacks than market offers, ask someone in trade chat if they can sell you a smaller stack. You will get the pearls back when you loot collect this stellar gear, so that you can put it on the crystal gear later. If you don't want to buy a ring, you can also make your own rings here. Won't get into it though, but later we can make crystal rings or buy these boxes off the marketplace. Here are the stats that can go into a piece of gear. First stat is always the same, and on crystal gear we squeeze in light here. Light is the stat that we need to deal damage in Delves and Geode topside. It acts as armor penetration in those regions, you could say. But we still call the stat that comes after the main one and light the second stat. You can reroll the third and fourth stat in a Chaos Forge. And on second stat reroll week, which it is right now as I'm doing this video, you can reroll the second stat too. Before we get into crystal gear, let's talk about emblems, flasks, food, banners, and allies too. There's many useful emblems. If your class needs a special one, you can find out on that specific guide, but we always get Martial for physical classes and Arcane for magic. This would be my first priority with your qubit currency. And a general one to use alongside it as you work on crit hit is Sure Strike emblem. It can be bought from the marketplace. There's also a ton of flasks, but the main ones used are Death Defying and Conjurer's Vial. You can buy Death Defying with Qubits 2. This would be my second priority, and I use this flask on all classes. Conjurers is nice for farming if you know you won't die, because you can use it constantly between dungeons along with some speed emblem. When you hit level 20, you can equip crystal gear and crystal rings. You get your first crystal gear from U8 topside. You can even craft a weapon here at the spawn point. Crystal ring boxes are made at the end of the ring crafting bench, and you need to be level 30 plus for those materials. So for now, you can either wait or you can buy a crystal ring box on the marketplace by searching for your class's name. Crystal gear comes in tiers. Pause here to see where to get them. You upgrade crystal gear in the forge. You need the items here, and I recommend maxing your first crystal once because it's cheap, then max your crystal 2 once you get it. Then if you find crystal 3, just loot collect it for the course and keep sitting on your maxed crystal 2 gear until you find crystal 4. Now we want more light. Crystal 4 has the best power rank and light. You can also get a banner, allies and food to boost it, but where do we get all these? You can get banners from delve caches to start with, or you can craft a bad one in the delve workbench. Just one of these. From the caches, you can get ones that give 300 light and some other bonus. The next step after you've used this 300 light thing is to get a torch from a Leviathan. Leviathan originally spawns in these different worlds, but it's the one in U10 that we specifically talk about called Ifera, which is now also part of a delve portal, which is more common. So to do the boss here in U10, you need 4800 light to get the loot or to deal damage to it, but it's way harder than doing the delve, so I recommend joining Delve Chat, which we'll get into later, and find a run doing Ifera, and then you can get a daily torch that gives 750 light, and if you combine 3 of them at this place right here, you can go into Sunseeker torches in here. Here you have the 751. If you get 3, use these materials, you can get a weekly torch that gives 900 light. You can also be super lucky from the boss and get a permanent torch, which you can upgrade down here to, let's say, this one, which will also give 900 light permanently and the other bonuses listed below. Now, food is found inside delve caches too, and your first couple of delves each week give these chests that contain the best food, free-range electrolytic crystals. The best ally to get in the early game will be one of these 4 at the bottom in the delve workbench, and after that, for more light, you can craft Ernie or Orchian in the Paragon bench, but you can sit on the delve one for a long time. You can get some allies before going into delves, like Prefect Penguin for magic damage and Wrapped Berserker for physical, but he's pricey. Delves. So I've talked about delves here and there, but what are they? Delves are like a dungeon that you go deeper and deeper through, and the difficulty goes up each depth. You can join a public one here, or what I recommend doing is typing /join delve and find groups in this chat. On depth 25 plus, you will start seeing these shadowy vaults every 3rd depth, and you will need to craft these keys to open them. You get fragments for doing dungeons. The first 6 you open will grant you extra rewards per week, most notably at the moment Lunar Souls and Titan Souls. To grind Crystal 4 later on, you will typically join delve starting at depth 115 because it only spawns in U10 depths, which typically occurs at 117 plus. Geode. Geode is its own game, kind of. Has its own inventory tab, but you can still trade the items with Flux and other players. We can get 1000 light from doing this part of the game, so eventually you must. You pretty much learn and acquire everything in this workbench, and also level up all your modules in this one. Just do your intro questline to Geode to learn the basics. And I'm not gonna go into depth about this, cause I don't think it fits a beginner guide, so I'll leave a link or multiple links in the description to late comms videos about this. XP. One of the best ways to gain XP as a new player, however, will actually involve Geode. You grab this daily quest down here and feed 15 critters with these items and you get a ton of experience. You can do this 5 times per day. It's super easy and doesn't require you to be strong for dungeons like the 5-star farming quest in Topside. Speaking of which, your second best alternative to getting experience will be 5-star farming. You type /join 5 farm to find hosts in Uber 10, and when you're strong enough for this, you can stop the critter quest if you want and take this guy's quest instead, which is to complete 5-star dungeons. Also, doing these outpost quests, which you've learned about from the expertise quest line, do them in as high of an Uber as you can for more experience. You can go to, let's say, Uber 9, type get world ID, then go back to each world to grab a quest and just join world, whatever you had, to go back to the U9 and complete it, or Uber 8 if you're not 10k. Now delves will be your last options beside just doing dungeons. They give a decent chunk of XP when you reach the boss room. If you have people clearing for you, you can stay in the boss room while people clear the next one, type /respawn, and when they reach the next floor or the next boss, you gain even more XP for some reason. Dragons. Dragon coins are hard to get. There's hourly challenges and you can buy them for qubits. This tome is my third priority for qubits. I recommend buying these after you own every other collectible for qubits. The most important dragons are primordial dragons, as they give you extra power rank based on your gems. You get these Dragonite frags for filling your daily star bar, and you can get this egg as a super rare reward from empowered gem boxes. There is one dragon here that gives light, but you need these fragments, which only comes from a dragon that spawns here every now and then. It will show up if you hit F1 when he's there. Apart from focusing on getting him, you should just get all the soul dragons, because they give the most mastery overall. I do them in order just to keep track, and then just go with the easier ones that you can get the materials and fragments for. Flux. So the best way to make Flux is by flipping the market. You basically buy up everything for cheap, you sell it for more expensive, profit, whatever. I think it's super boring. I don't like making Flux this way. So your next methods. Do you have at 8,000 magic find? Probably not, since you're watching this video. Go U9 farming in here. Just farm dungeons, loot collect stellars, profit. Is it Monday? Do shadow shard farming. You just go into the delve chat, you look for people or host your own shadow shard farms by going into a challenge portal until you hit Neon Underground, and then you just loop that Neon Underground with Neon Ninjas and you just sell the shadow shards. Is it Tuesday? Go tier 5 runs in Geode. Probably not something you can do if you watch this video either. So if that's not the case, go nitro farming in any of these worlds. You can type /join Ganda to find a group for people doing it together. Any other day, still nitro farming if you're at 5k plus power rank, and you can go here. Or you can farm neon recipe dungeons in here and just sell the scrap cases on the market. And the recipes. Also, as you do all these daily quests, you will sometimes get locked Adventurine Strong boxes, which you can sell on the market for a good price. Tomes. In your character sheet, you can see this slot for tomes. There is legendary ones that you can trigger once per week. I would, as I said, recommend the Dragon Coin one from the store, but there are many good ones, and I'm not going to go in depth about all of them. Other than that, you want one that isn't legendary for the rest of the week after you fill those. And the best one for that is Cybernetics Catalog. You can craft it yourself in the rune crafting bench, or you can buy it off the marketplace. Mastery. Here I will once again just link you to Latecom's videos about this, because he has a really good one about mastery, and I also think it's not important for beginners, but I thought I'd mention it. Pay to win. Is Trove pay to win? Straight up, yes. You can buy most things for raw cash. I think it doesn't feel fun at all, so I prefer to play the game. The one thing I do buy though is Patron. I think it's a good way to support the game while the value is based on how much you play. Therefore, it feels very rewarding still. And that's it. If you have questions, ask them in the comments. If the video already covers it, I won't answer them. Do you want to see me do a free-to-play series from a fresh account and see all these recommendations in progress? I'm very willing to do so if you wish for it down in the comments. See ya.